one arm dumbbell row. Start with one hand and one knee on the bench, one foot in the hand that grabs the dumbbell. Keep your back parallel to the floor. Pull the weight up through your hip and back down. Keep the back parallel to the floor at all times. The kickback. Start with the back parallel to the floor, the same hand and knee on the bench. Use a lighter weight so that we can really isolate the tricep with this lift. Bring your elbow up close to the body. Press the weight back just like you're going to hammer the back of a door. And back down. It's important to keep that elbow stationary. Squeeze the top of the weight. Squeeze the tricep. Use slow, controlled movements. The lying tricep extension. Start with the back prone on a bench, hands at shoulder width apart, press the weight up. And this exercise can be done with an easy curl bar or a straight bar. Hand width will be determined by the body size. We're going to keep our elbows straight, lower the weight down to our forehead, keeping the elbows pointed straight to the ceiling. Try to shoot for the hairline to lower the weight to. Press the weight straight up, keeping the elbows, again, in close to the body. This exercise should be done with a slow, controlled movement. Laterals. We'll do front, side, and rear laterals, also known as FSR. Front laterals are performed with dumbbells. Start with them at your waist, and then you'll bring the top of your hands towards the ceiling about ear height and down in slow, controlled movements. These also can be done alternating. Side laterals will just move the weights to the side. Start with them in front of your waist. Take the top of your hands to the ceiling about ear height. It's important really not to lock your elbows. Keep your elbows soft. Take the back of your hands to the ceiling, move them up to about ear height. Rear laterals, you'll place your butt cheeks on the very tip of a bench. Place the weights underneath your feet. Put your chest in your lap. Head down. You're going to take the back of your hands again to the ceiling, about ear height. It's important to keep your hands lined up with your shoulders and not letting them get too far back. We're trying to work the back of the deltoid here. The concentration arm curl. This will be done with a dumbbell. Sit on the bench, on the very edge of a bench. Place the weight in between the legs. You're going to drop your tricep down and try to put inside your knee. Grab the dumbbell, curl it up. Try to keep that bicep in a firm position with that elbow locked inside that knee. The fly. This exercise will be done on a bench with dumbbells. Keep your back and head flat on the bench, feet flat on the floor. Raise the dumbbells up above your chest. It's important in this exercise that you keep soft elbows and the wrists turned slightly in to protect your elbows and shoulders. Place the dumbbells together. Open the chest wide. Let the dumbbells drop. Bring the dumbbells back together like you're going to squeeze a dime in between your pecs. It's important to try to keep the same angle with your elbows all the way through the lift so that you will isolate the chest. Squeezing at the top. Really squeeze at the top. The lunge. This exercise can be done with dumbbells or with just body weight. Using good posture, you're going to stride out with one leg, stride far enough to where the knee will not go in front of the toe that you're striding with. It's important with the opposite leg to try to keep the knee as straight as possible. Not locked, but we want to keep it as straight as possible. So it will apply pressure to the butt cheek of the opposite leg being used. Keep good posture. Keep your chest up and your chin up. Stride out. Take it down. Push off. The push-up. Start with the hands placed under the shoulders. Thumbs under the armpits for boys, maybe a little wider for ladies. It's important to keep the head, back, buttocks, and legs in a line. Try to keep your core tight during this exercise. Press up by keeping your elbows in close to your body. Keep that good straight line with the body. Slow, controlled movements. Control your breathing during the exercise. The crunch. Lay with your back flat, shoulders flat on the floor, knees bent at a 90, feet flat on the floor. We'll take our fingertips and place them just on our earlobes. Elbows out wide. We're going to lift the back of our shoulders up off the ground, tightening that core, not pulling on our neck, and dropping back down. Slow, controlled movements. Tighten the core, lift those shoulders and upper back off the ground. Keep the feet flat. The reverse crunch. Cross your hands at your chest. Bring your feet up off the floor where your knees are at a 90. We're going to lift our hips up off the ground where we get the small of our back up off the ground. We're going to bring our knees to our elbows. We're going to try to thrust our lower back and our hips up in the air, isolating our lower abdominals. Preacher curl. This exercise could be done kneeling or in a seated preacher curl. You can use an easy curl bar or a straight bar. Using an underhand grip, grab the barbell, make sure that you slide your body to where your pad is up into your armpit. Keeping the pad of the machine up against your tricep. Lift the barbell up, and you're going to curl it to your chin. It's important with this exercise that we don't go all the way down and extend the elbows. We want to go about 90%. Use slow, controlled movements. Like all the other exercises, breathe as naturally as you can. The overhead press. It's important that the lifter positions himself correctly in the bench. The back pad should be up just between his shoulder blades. The lifter should always have his lower back and upper back firmly against the pad. It's his choice whether he wants to keep his feet flat on the floor or on the pegs. The grip of the overhead press will be done with the index fingers directly above the shoulders. It's very important to have a spotter with this lift. 4 hands on the bar as it's taken off the rack. Once the bar is above the head, the lifter will lower the weight to where the bar touches just at the top of his chest and presses straight up, trying to keep the bar in front of his face and using slow, controlled movements. Keeping good posture and keeping that lower back up against the pad. Once the lift is done, there'll be 4 hands on the bar as the lifter will be blind as he puts it back on the rack.